I'm Andrew.
And I'm Sam.
And we're Envy Board Gaming. And today, we're going to be taking a look at The Isle of Cats. Designed by Frank West and published by the City of Games. This is a 1 to 4 player, unless you have the expansion. You can play up to 6. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half to play. And in this game, players are going to be rescuing cats from an island before this enemy ship arrives, who is going to conquer the world, but for some reason decide to start with an island of cats to conquer.
Because they're amazing cats.
Right. So let's take a look at how it's played, and we'll come back and give you our final thoughts. All right, so this is what setup could look like for you in a game of Isle of Cats. Each player is going to get their own player board as well as one permanent basket. And then when you are setting up the fields in a 3-player game, it will fluctuate from player count, but in a 3-player game, you will have 6 cats on each side of the field. You will have a pool of common goods, some Oshax cats, some additional permanent baskets, some supplies for the fish, as well as the different colored cat meeples, and you'll have your deck of cards. Now, in this game, one of the big things is going to be drafting cards. So every player is going to get a hand of 7 different cards, and you're going to take these cards and you're going to choose 2 of them to keep. So just kind of like in some other games that you've probably seen, you'll take 2 cards and then you'll pass the remaining cards to the player on your left. Now in the Isle of Cats, this transition is going to switch between round. So in the 1st, 3rd, and 5th round, you will be passing the cards to the left. However, in the 2nd and 4th round, you'll be passing the cards to the right. After you've passed around 2 cards every single time, taking more and more, eventually you'll only have 1 left after you take your 2. When you pass that card, that player will keep that last card, which will give everybody a hand of 7 cards. Now, in these 7 cards, you're going to find a number of different colored cards that can do different things, and they each are going to be used at different times during the game. Now, I'll briefly go through each of these different ones. So the green ones are going to be rescue cards. And the point of these cards is going to be, you're going to be looking at for 2 different reasons. One, they're going to give you baskets, either a partial basket or a full basket. You need 2 partials to make a full basket. And then the other part you're going to be looking at are going to be the boots, which is going to be your speed, which is going to determine who is going to be the first player from round to round. Okay, so those will be your green cards. You will also have purple cards. These purple cards are anytime cards, and they can be used anytime, just as the card says. If there's ever a tie when 2 people want to play anytime cards at the same time, you will refer to the player order, which is determined by the cat order there on the little island board. So those are the purple cards. Then you'll also, I'll put these 2 together, you have brown and you have gold cards, or yellow, however you want to look at it. These are going to be rare finds, and you will play these later on in the game, which I will explain when we get to that. And then you'll have these blue cards, which are lesson cards. You will have public lesson cards, and you will have regular private lesson cards. Okay? So after you are done drafting, what you're going to do is you have to decide which of these cards do I want to keep and which ones do I want to get rid of. Now, each card is going to have a cost in the top left-hand corner of those cards. Depending on which ones you want to keep, you will pay for those, and then the ones that you don't want, you'll throw in a discard pile. After you have paid for those, because at the beginning of the game, I kind of missed this a little bit, but every player is going to get 20 fish as their income. So the fish is going to be used to pay for your cards, as well as being able to rescue the cats. So these are 5 fish, which can be a little deceiving because it looks like there's 3, but those little darker sections in the back are actually 2 additional fish. So just keep in mind that those are 5 fish. And then you have the individual fish tokens here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to be looking at those 7 cards that you have in your hand, deciding which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to get rid of. The ones you keep, you will pay fish for. After you have paid for those fish and you've discarded the ones that you don't want to keep, you'll discard those cards. What you're going to do is then players are going to they must put all lessons on the table. Now, if they are a public lesson, like here, you will read the public lesson out loud and place it on the table for all players to see. So this one, for instance, says, pick a color. All players get 5 points if they have 3 or more cats of the chosen color on their boat. So when you play this, you will have to choose a color. And that is where these handy little cat meeples are going to come into play. So you will be choosing colors and placing these on the cards so that you can remember what color was chosen for that specific public lesson. Private cards, you do not have to read out loud. You will simply place them face down next to your boat, and if you have multiples, you will sprawl them out so that people can see how many lesson cards you have. That is public information. Okay? Now, after you have placed out all your public and private cards, then players are going to decide what rescue cards they want to play for this round. Now, rescue cards, again, are going to be these green cards. And you're going to play these depending on, you can see the cats are out there, so you want to have the most boots. If you want to be the first to go, whoever has the least boots will be the last to go. And it will determine how many cats you can rescue this round. You'll always have your permanent basket at the beginning of every round, but there will be ways for you to earn other permanent baskets, and then also these rescue cards will give you ways to catch additional cats. So, after everybody has chosen their rescue cards, you will reveal them, and you will first add up the number of boots on the cards. Again, whoever has the most boots, that are going to be the fastest, so they will get to rescue first. And you will reorganize this player order here in order to reflect the speed of each player. Now, if there is a tie, they will simply stay in the same order that they were before. After everybody has revealed those cards, you will then go into actually rescuing the cats. And this will be where those fish that you have been managing this whole time is going to come in handy as well. So when you are rescuing a cat, you can choose to either rescue a cat on the left side or the right side. The only difference is the cost for those cats. On the left side, each cat to rescue is going to cost you 3 fish. Okay? And again, you'll have to use a basket. And then on this side, you'll have to spend 5 fish per cat that you wish to rescue. Again, having to use a basket. So, players will go in turn order around the table, rescuing these cats. If at any point there are no cats left in either field, then that phase is going to end. Any players that have played rescue cards that have not been used, and because there's no cats available left, those cards will be lost. Now, I don't think I've ever had that experience where there have been no cats out there on the field, but in case you run into that situation, that is what the rule book states. Okay, so when you rescue the cat, if you're using your cards, you will discard the rescue cards that you're using to capture the cat. If you're using one of your permanent ones, you will flip it over to show that it has been used. Okay, now, when you rescue the cats, you will then place them onto your boat. The first cat can go anywhere on the boat, okay? So I can place it here, whatever you want to do, all right? And the main goal of this game is obviously highest points is gonna win, right? So highest points, and what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna score points in a number of different ways. You're gonna score them by having families of cats, by having rare treasures, and by completing your public and private lesson cards, okay? So when you place these, your first cat can go out on the table. And if you cover up a matching, this one might be a little difficult for me. Oh, if I do that, okay. So let's say I place this here. If I place it over a matching treasure, I don't know if that'll be easy for you guys to see or not, but there is a yellow treasure map on this boat. Okay, oops, sorry. Okay, and if you cover that treasure up with a cat of the same color, you will get to do its little treasure map extra bonus, which is going to be able to claim one of these common treasures, not the rare treasures, and you will be able to then place those out onto your board as well. And you're going to try to be as efficient as possible filling up this board, because for every room that you do not fill, it will be a negative 5 points at the end of the game. Also, for each rat that you do not cover, it's minus 1 point. Now, after you've placed your first cat, any additional cats you place must touch a cat that's already on your board. Okay, meaning they have to share a side. So it could be like this. You could flip it, turn it, however you want to use it. It's totally up to you. The only thing that you cannot do is that this is not considered adjacent. So you cannot place it there if it's diagonal, just touching corners. They have to share a side. Okay, the cat cannot leave the boat border, so you can't have it hanging out of the boat. It cannot overlap other tiles, and they must touch sides. Okay. After you've gone around and everybody has rescued their cats and placed them on the board, you are then going to go to the rare finds, which I said that I would come back to. And that's going to be your brown and gold cards. Now these you can play at this time, and they're going to allow you to do special abilities. So this one here lets you take any rare treasure. Right now, just based on when I was drawing these out, if you pull a rare treasure out, it just kind of goes into its own little supply. It doesn't get added to the cats. But you can choose any one of these, and you'll add them to your board, and these will give you victory points at the end of the game. Okay? If you choose not to take a rare treasure, you can also choose any 2 common treasures that are out on the board as well. If any time those common treasures are depleted, you just cannot choose that common treasure. The other rare find that you can get in this game is an Oshak's cat. I believe they all cost 5 in the game, but then you will choose one of the available Oshak cats tiles that are available out in front. And then you will place them onto your board. And after you have placed them, you are going to those are wild cats, so you will choose a cat meeple to represent what color that Oshak's cat is. Okay, and then once you get 3 or more cats of the same color together, you are going to create a family, and these are going to score you points. So groups of same colored cats are going to score you more and more points depending on the size of that group. Okay? Then, after that, you will discard any cats that were still up there, reset for the next round, and you'll get ready for another day of rescuing cats. And that is essentially kind of the overview of the Isle of Cats. All right, so that's how you play the Isle of Cats. So we will jump right in. I know this is a game that you really like, so why don't you start off with your theory about this game?
Okay, so I have a theory that there is more to these cats than we can see. So in the game, you know, they don't talk about them having like superpowers or anything, but I feel like they might have powers, because if this enemy ship is coming to steal these cats, there's something behind it.
Okay, this is all speculation.
Yeah, this is just my theory.
Nothing is backed up. She just really wants to know why this ship is going for the cat.
Because, okay, yeah, they're just normal cats, but they don't look normal. They kind of look like alien cats.
They're exotic cats.
Yeah, they're very exotic, and I think there's more to it. I'm just saying, I have a theory, but
I think you're just desperate for magical kitties. I think you've been, on this weird kick lately about magical cats.
Yeah,
but
nothing's better.
I digress, because that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
but
this won't be a conspiracy theory video.
Right, no. So, Isle of Cats. Let's jump in. Let's talk about the pros, and then we'll talk about the cons. Okay. So, I'll go first, because I know you like this a lot, so I'll make sure I give you your soapbox to stand on a little later. Isle of Cats, polyomino, card drafting, tile placement game, resource management as when it comes to the fish. So this is I'll say I really like this game. I know this game has gotten a lot of hype. It got a ton of hype when it first came out. Still very, very popular game. They have I know they had the late arrivals expansion that allows you to play up to 6 and add a new new tiles and everything to the game, more cards, which are great. The lesson cards, there's hundreds of cards in this game. So I mean, the replayability is high, which I really like, because the cards can be different all along. Now they have another expansion coming out with, you know, the beasts and the kittens and everything. So we back that. So I'm super excited about that. Not to mention they also have the Flip and Right game, which I had a chance to try during one of their little like Twitch plays that they did, and I really like that. But we're gonna focus on this, but I will say the game is very popular, popular enough to have, you know, more expansions and, you know, Flip and Right game of it. So and I'm definitely going to fall into that realm of liking this game. I like the puzzly nature of trying to fill those rooms, creating those families, you know, getting just the right piece that fits in just the right spot, you know, covering up those maps and getting those, you know, little treasures to even fill more spaces, you know, getting the different lessons that give you goals to go for. Because at the beginning, you might just be going for, you know, filling up space. You don't really know, I mean, you could go for like large families, but once you get those, whether they're private or public lesson cards, that you can then have kind of a direction of, this is how I'm going to score points. You know, I want to have cats on the edge of the boat, or I want to have, you know, right down the middle, I want to complete that entire middle row, or whatever it is, or I want to fill these rooms, or, you know, maybe you don't want to cover up all the rats because that card that comes up that, you know, gives you points for rats that are showing. And so, and what's nice is that there are those different modules that you can pull out and put in. If you want a meaner game, which I know we never do, but you can put in those take that cards that give people negative points for things that they don't do or do. And so it's like, it's got a lot of replayability. I like the Oshax cats that come in, you know, those cards are always, I feel like when people get it, unless you don't have the fish for them, like they get snatched up real quick because of those wilds. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I like the quickness of the card drafting. I like the tile placement, you know, managing those fish and knowing, oh man, I want all these cards, but I don't have enough fish to pay for them all. So how am I gonna, you know, because I gotta have fish to pay for cards, but then I gotta have fish to rescue the cats. And do I have enough baskets for the cats? And, you know, oh, I gotta make sure I have enough boots because I want to be able to be the first one to draft so I can get the cat that I want or that I need, because you don't know how many green cats or blue cats or red cats are going to come out. And so you want to make sure you have that speed in order to draft first. And so I feel like it's simple, you know, pick a card pass, and then you pay for them, the ones that you want to keep. And, you know, there could be some hate drafting in there where you just take a card, you're like, I have no intention of paying for this, but at least no one else is going to get it. And then, you know, paying for those cats and which cats do you want. And yeah, I think it's quick. The rules are simple. And it's just, but it's puzzly, you know, it's got that strategic thinking behind it. And, you know, you really have to kind of focus and pay attention to what you're doing. So those are my pros. What are your pros?
Mine are similar to yours. I love that it is easy to learn. I feel like we can teach this to other people fairly quickly. It's an easy setup. I do love that. I love the whole concept of it. Like, just the fact that you were rescuing cats off this island and you're luring them in with fish and baskets. It's just like, I don't know. For me, it's just a cool concept. And I love the whole Tetris like feel to it, that you're matching. I don't know. I love that part of it. And I've never been one to really play Tetris, but I love being able to like maneuver the cats and be like, okay, I'm going to fit this one this way. And just to match them and try to, I don't know, maneuver it. Like, I just think that that's a fun part of the game. And you're trying to keep your cat families together, and then you throw the Oshax cats in there. I am a real big fan of the cards too. I love, you get big points from those cards, but it is cool to be able to collect them and work your strategy, however that is, whatever your cards say. Like, maybe you need at least like 2 families of different colors, or you don't cover up the rats, and really the rats get you negative points at the end of the game, but you might have the card that gives you positives, for the rats.
Or you need the largest of a certain color.
Yeah, largest of a certain color. I mean, there's like so many different cards that you can play. And so I like that. I like games where you can get points from lots of different places. So I feel like that's cool. And I think, can we talk about the top of the box?
Oh, the inside of it?
The inside of the box?
Inside? Yeah.
Yes, okay. So this is so cute and just creative. I feel like it's just funny. I mean, I tried to put my cat in the box, I think, at some point, and she was like not about it. But
I've seen lots of pictures of cats that
that if you have a pet cat, you should place it here while playing Isle of Cats. Because cats love boxes.
People put their snakes in there, their dogs, everything. I've seen
their dogs?
Yeah.
Or their snakes?
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
I mean, I guess the snake would stay in the box, but
right, yeah.
I mean, I had to bring that up just because I thought that was a cute way to utilize the box.
Yeah. So what about negatives? I can go first with negatives, or do you want to go first?
You can go first.
All right, so negatives. I'll leave the obvious one to you because I won't chime in on that one. I don't have too much. It's not too much of a negative for me. But for me, I think the sweet spot for this game is between 2 and 4. I haven't played it solo, but I don't really care to play it with 5 or 6. I've done that, and it drags the game out like crazy. I don't want to go above 4. 4 is kind of the max because then you're like waiting. And yet drafting the cards is fast and everything, but sometimes people take forever with drafting the cards, and then you got 2-3 piles of cards waiting for this person to draft, and so that could be a bit of a hassle. Yeah. Or people deciding on what cat they want, and so when you get 5-6 players, it is way too long. Yeah. I like 2-player, but I like it more at 3 or 4, just because more cards come out. And then I know with 2 players, you have the different drafting that they have going on with that. And there's a little bit more hate drafting in that. But I will say I like the 3 or 4 players the best. It's still good at 2. But I definitely would not really... I don't really enjoy it at 5 or 6. It just takes too long. Any other negative? I mean, it takes up a lot of table, especially if you're playing with 5 or 6 players. Even at 4, it takes up because each person's got that boat. You got all the cat tiles out there. You got any public lessons that are out there. You got all the cards. You got everybody's player board. Not to mention all the fish. I mean, it can take up a table. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And then you have the treasures as well. And so, but I think my biggest negative is I wouldn't play it for 5 or 6. But that's not really anything against the game too much. The game is I think, really, really good. So I don't have a lot of negatives for this. But I would say recommended, 4 or less players. I would not say 5 or 6.
Yeah, it does take a while when you do have 5 or 6 for it to be your turn. Yeah. I mean, it takes
and then
a long time.
that hour and a half can easily become 2.5 hours. Unfortunately, possibly longer. But yeah, so that would be my take. Any negatives from you?
Just for me, okay, so I was thinking about this, and okay, so the negative points in the game, I feel like can be a lot. Now, we play with all of the cards. We don't, like, take the negative cards out.
Yeah, because you can take modules and take them out and put them in.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to leave them all in, but we just put them all together.
Right.
And
Sometimes we played without them, but I feel like for the most part we do play with them.
Right.
That can really, the points that you build up that can really ruin your score.
If people put them out. And we've had games where people have paid for all these negative cards,
Yes.
and then people get upset with them. But then not even that. You probably don't even like the negative points you get from the rats or from not completing the room.
Well, I was going to talk about that. We won't talk about who put all the negative cards out trying to take you out. And then he took us all down. But anyway, so I know that was the frustrating part. I'm like, even if you put all the negatives out, that's going to hurt us too, not just you.
Right.
And then you still won. So anyway, but okay, so I was thinking about it. So like the boats and covering up the rooms.
Right.
Now, this was obviously, okay, it makes sense. Like, you know, if you don't cover up the symbols, like those are negative points. That's part of the game, is trying to figure out how are you going to cover up all these rooms.
Right.
I have yet to see anyone cover up all of them when we played.
No, I haven't seen anybody completely fill
completely fill the boat. But the symbols, my complaint is the symbols.
What symbols?
The symbols of the
rooms, okay,
being so light, like they're hard to see.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like looking at the board, like they blend in, and I know they did that on purpose, but I feel like they blend in too much to where
or that some of the like two of the rooms, is it two or maybe more of the rooms are the exact same symbol.
Yeah.
Some people get confused by that. I mean, obviously they're different rooms, but some people think when it comes to scoring, it's like, well, it's the same symbol, so it should only be -5 and not -10. Or, you know, you miss the little tiny room at the front of the boat, and people don't see that, and so, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so I feel like they're just too lightly colored, like they're just hard to see. So I feel like if they were more vibrant or something, like, that would make it easier to see. I do like, though, I will say, like, with being able to fill rooms and to cover up the rats that you get negative points for, there is treasure that you can use to fill those spots. So I know that's what I've done in the past, is just using treasure to fill the blanks. So that does help.
Right.
And then, you know, you're getting points for, like, treasure too, you know, like at the end. But I would say those are really my only negatives. Negative points.
All right. So final scoring, what would you say is your final score for this?
I really love this game. So I would give it a 9.
A 9? Okay. This is an 8.5 for me. So I still really, really like it. You definitely like it more, but I think it's probably one thing you should know about Samantha is theme will get her every time.
Yes.
She doesn't care what the mechanics are at the beginning. She just loves the theme. And if it has animals in it, she will play it and she will buy it.
If it is a game that the theme has nothing to do with the game and it's not thematic, I don't really like it. I mean,
and then the other thing is that if your game gives negative points, she also really
I don't like that
it.
either.
And Samantha is not big into take back games.
No.
So just if you ever wonder about a game, those are pretty good things to hit.
I just like to be nice when I play games. And I know that I can't say that, because sometimes when it is a take that and I'm the one doing it, I'm kind of like, heh. But I'm like, be nice to me.
Luckily, there's not a ton of that in here, unless it's like hate drafting. But yeah, so 9 for you, 8.5 for me. I think, you know, it's been around. The hype was real about the game. It really is good. I'm excited about the expansion. I'm going to just precursor this. I really enjoyed the Flip and Write. I know you hadn't got to play it, but I got to print off a sheet and play it on Twitch. I can't remember who it was with, but I really liked it. So, I mean, that was just a couple plays. So, I mean, I haven't played the final version, but we'll talk about that in a different video when it comes out. But Isle of Cats, really good game. This is one that will definitely be staying in our collection.
Oh, yeah.
For a really long time. Check it out, especially if you like polyominoes and the tile placement and card drafting. All good stuff. The theme is silly, but I mean, it's still really fun.
It's so fun.
Right.
Though.
And so check it out. Also, please like, comment, subscribe, click that little bell icon so every time we post a video, you get a notification. And let us know what you think of Isle of Cats, or what other animal games do you like to play?
Yeah.
Whether it be cats, I know Samantha really likes dogs as well. So let us know what are your favorite animal games, and we will look forward to talking to you guys about the next one. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.